All right, everyone. Welcome to my interview with the former founder of Kalterkrieg, Chroma. So, Chroma has been out of the public eye for a while, so it's been good to grab an interview with him. So, he'll be running through the history of Kalterkrieg, and we're going to be answering some questions about that to find out what's gone wrong.
All right. As P said, I'm Chroma. Whenever you're ready to start with the questions, I got some answers for sure.
Yeah, Chroma, just introduce yourself first.
I'm Chroma. I used to be the head developer of Kalterkrieg. I am not really much into Hearts of Iron 4 anymore, but for a time I was developing both it as well as a couple other mods that never saw the light of day.
All right, that's great. Let's get started. So, what gave you the original idea for Kalterkrieg?
Right. So, complicated answer here. Because by technicality, Kalterkrieg wasn't my idea. The current Kalterkrieg Discord, the one founded in 2018, is the second public Kalterkrieg Discord. The first one dates back to either 2017 or 2016. I think I joined it around 2017, but given it's gone now, I can't really check. It was established by a guy called Bob. And it wasn't necessarily for a Hearts of Iron 4 mod. It was a project he was working on called a Nachtkrieg, or Night War, to my understanding. Which by all means was Kalterkrieg. It's like much the same map, same idea. It all comes from him.
Yes.
None of us really knew him, the like founders of what ended up becoming Kalterkrieg. He was just kind of some guy, and then he bowed out eventually and asked us not to use the name Nachtkrieg, so we titled it Kalterkrieg and ended up making it into a Hoi 4 mod to make success. So it wasn't technically my idea. It comes from that like old Discord, which like for some context, there was like some discussion of the Nachtkrieg idea, but for the most part in those early days, it was kind of just his personal server with like maybe 100 or so people. There was like a weird nation states roleplay that was going on there, which is like
NRPs.
that's like where I got the term Kaiserreich from, and like I guess it just kind of stuck from there. That like wasn't my choice. But it is what it is. It didn't start out as a mod idea. It started out as just something for fun, and that's the torch that we got handed off.
Right. So, what would you say the design philosophy around Kalterkrieg originally was?
Well, it was kind of just like we're making it for fun thing. Like we had a bunch of really questionable shit in there, don't get me wrong. Like we had like mech tanks, like walkers that we were working on modeling at one point. A whole like Hermann Goring, like blood for the blood throne route in like Africa.
Yeah.
Did some of that go public? Okay. I always like forget what's known and what's unknown. We had
you
like
know what? At this point, it doesn't matter. There's nothing
yeah,
left of the mod anyway.
I don't care about like leaking anything because I know for sure that the current like team hasn't really taken any of the leftover ideas. We weren't aiming for historical accuracy. We were doing like weird shit. Like we were making alt history restaurants and comic book superheroes and like warning symbols, since like the radiation symbol only really got invented during World War II. We decided to make our own, and like there was supposed to be like a whole silly event chain where you had to choose between either the Reichspakt or the Entente because they both came up with two different nuclear symbols.
I see.
but like just silly shit like that for the most part, because we weren't aiming for historical accuracy. We were just doing whatever we thought was cool, whatever borders we thought made sense for balance, and then we built the story around that, no matter how absurd it all was. Like, if we cared about historical accuracy or creating something even halfway realistic, then we probably would have just applied to work on main Kaiserreich or like Iron Curtain or whatever the fuck the Cold War mod is nowadays.
Yeah.
We were like purely making a game, like something intended to be silly and fun with like a loose space in reality because of like how far removed the timeline was. Because like we're talking about a divergence for Kaiserreich in like what, before World War One, right? So
Yeah.
like the difference in the timeline with Kalterkrieg taking place in like super early 50s, that's like 40 plus years of just entire like a spiral away from historical accuracy. So
Exactly.
to us, we didn't really care because no matter what we did, it would kind of just be a funhouse mirror version of real life, because
Hmm.
so many of the like important figures would just be reused anyways, because you only have so many minor politicians that you can dredge up that make sense from that period. um like even Kaiserreich has a massive issue with this, like trying to find politicians and a lot of the time just fucking making people up or like using real names with like random photographs, which like
Yeah.
is totally fine, but like that was a problem that we encountered early on and just decided fuck it. We're going to have Walt Disney as a potential president of the Pacific States. um
Whoa.
oh yeah. um like
It's safe to say you guys were more focused on fun rather than just being as accurate as
yes.
possible.
We had like a Fallout New Vegas style toggle that we were like working on implementing, and it was implemented at one point, but it's since been removed to my knowledge. Of
Mhm.
like if you're familiar with Wacky Wasteland or Weird Wasteland, whatever it's
Oh,
called.
the meme paths toggle. Yeah, I
Um
that actually. That's the
yeah,
image.
yeah. That was like actually in a playable version of the mod at one point. But I believe it got removed before the mod went public.
Oh yeah, it
Um
did.
I have some old builds, but I don't know what versions they're for. So like I
You have to
could provide
downgrade to like
those,
one
but
point
like
like nine or
yeah,
something.
Lord knows. I um, but
Yeah.
we were kind of just having fun. We didn't really
Hmm.
care. Um, there was there was like a slow shift, if I remember correctly. Because like we started writing up these like long epic tales of like the Austrian intervention, the like British Reconstruction Authority, the missile crisis, like these super long like bits of prose that we were super happy with. And like in the process of making those and like thinking those out, I don't know what changed. Maybe it was like some of the new developers we brought on or something like that. But like over time, all of that like silly, fun, unrealistic stuff kind of got pushed to the side in favor of focusing more on internal
Hmm.
politics, realism, quote unquote, kind of culling some of the weirder things that were in the mod, which like I was against, but I and don't get me wrong, I will be the first one to say it. When I was the lead developer of Kalterkrieg, I was between 14 and 16 years old. I was immature as fuck. Um, like I should not have been in that position. I was not a very good lead of the team. And there was a lot of things that probably should have seen the light of day that never did, and that's entirely my fault. But at the same time, I think the Kalterkrieg that was back then and the Kalterkrieg that is now share very, very little of the same DNA.
I agree.
Like just from what I've seen, they feel like two different things.
Hmm. unfortunately. So, when did the direct Kaiserreich continuation idea begin? Was that after or before you?
The idea of directly continuing from Kaiserreich was like the I starting at the beginning, not Krieg was always a Kaiserreich Cold War. That was the
Mhm.
idea. A Cold War between the German Empire and the Entente, essentially.
Yes.
Because the idea was instead of it being an ideological Cold War, you get that veil pulled off, and it's just two empires that have always hated each other, like not getting along, threatening each other with nukes because that's what empires do.
Yes.
So it was like on purpose that it wasn't an ideological difference. And I
Hmm.
don't believe they've changed that.
No.
Um, but the idea of picking up off of Kaiserreich with every little detail didn't really come until a while later, and that was something that I was very vocally against because I
Hmm.
knew what it would do to the mod if we had to go in and change things with every rework that Kaiserreich had. And
Yes.
at some point, we got into contact with the Kaiserreich developers, us and our sister mod, which I don't know if it's still around. I haven't actually seen anything
What's
about
it called?
Krasnacht.
Oh,
Krasnacht.
Krasnacht. They've revived in there's three different iterations now. So they
Oh,
split into three.
oh boy.
They're still a work in
Okay,
progress.
gotcha. Yeah, the Krasnacht and Kalterkrieg development teams got into contact with at least one Kaiserreich developer.
Was it
Um,
Carmine?
Carmain was originally on Kalterkrieg
Oh, not the other way
and then
around.
joined Kaiserreich. Yeah.
Mm.
Carmain is the only one currently on the dev team that I know, like
Oh, he
have
left.
spoken. Oh, okay. Um, so never mind. But yeah, apparently the ship of Theseus, I guess. Then,
Yeah.
um, but the we ended up getting into contact with the Kaiserreich developers at one point or another, us and Krasnacht, because one of the main things that Kaiserreich wanted to make clear in like giving us pre-access to like documentation of changes, like the
Yes.
legation cities rework is something that I remember we got access to about like I want to say like a year before they said anything to the public, something like that. And there was like quite a few things like that. I don't know if everything that I saw has been like released. Like I don't know if they've done the Syndicalism rework yet.
They
Um,
they they did a little. It got released into the public, but like
okay,
teaser wise.
yeah, that makes sense.
It's
I
been like
won't.
7 years.
Yeah, well, even still, I'm not going to talk too much about that just in case,
Okay,
because I know Kaiserreich has had a lot of stuff brewing for a very long time.
that's true.
Their development cycle is very long, and
That
it's
is
very
true.
steady.
Hmm.
So, because honestly, I have seen a little bit of Kaiserreich recently, and the Kaiserreich that I've seen recently and the Kaiserreich that I remember are not that different. If anything, new Kaiserreich is like better. I enjoy some of
Of
the reworks
course.
that they've done, like the German Empire and stuff like that.
Yes.
Um, I think I hold an unpopular opinion in that I actually kind of like the card game. Um, but I think that's silly. I think it adds literally any gameplay. Because I
Yeah.
don't like modern Hoi 4. I think modern Hoi 4 is bad.
Hmm.
Because of how much you are expected to manage with like the same amount of tools that you've always had. Like they added the decision system of like while back. And
Yeah.
that's cool. But then you also have a bunch of other stuff that you need to worry about. Like, I heard that they added like coal and electricity and stuff,
Yeah, that
and
was
I'm
the most
sitting here like,
stupid thing ever.
why? Well,
Yeah.
because it's not just that. They've added like a bunch of stuff like that over the years that I feel like a lot of people forget weren't originally in the game. So like when we were originally developing Kalterkrieg, it was like silly and fun and a little bit laid back. But if you try to make a mod like that for Hoi 4 now, you're just gonna be stressed out, I think.
Yeah, there's just too much
Um
stuff now.
yeah. But either way, the like being a direct continuation of Kaiserreich was something that the devs wanted to make certain with us that we weren't like promoting, I guess, like being the official Cold War mod, like
Yes.
for Kaiserreich. That was like something very that we were very explicitly told not to do. I don't know if that's like been gone back on. I don't actually know what the current status of Kalterkrieg is at all.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
gonna
still
be
not an
honest.
official Cold War, but they still maintain like the direct canonical link. Like they're still changing
Gotcha.
stuff
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the Kalterkrieg lore to match when Kaiserreich does it.
Oh, gotcha. That
Yeah,
sounds exhausting.
it is.
Um, I was trying to avoid doing that purely because from the start, Kalterkrieg had developmental issues. Like from the very beginning, it was very slow.
Mhm.
Like it doesn't shock me that it took so long for any version of Culture Creek to come out. Because we did not have the manpower to achieve the vision that we had, like at all.
Yeah,
Um, and as far as I know, they still don't, and that's okay.
it's pretty bad now.
Um,
It's like one active coder left.
well, I mean, that's pretty much what it was down to when I left the mod. Um, but so some things never change.
Yeah, I see.
I remember there was so much drama regarding my exit. I don't know if you want to get into any of that. But I
We'll
remember
talk about it a
one
little
of
bit.
the okay. I remember one of the last things that was like said to me or said about me was Chroma needs to learn to fucking code. Which like
Oh no,
fair.
fair enough.
Uh,
So you were
jokes
an
on them. I
ideas guy.
have. I was. Yeah.
Mhm.
I have. I have grown up since then for sure. But either way.
Actually, talking about that, what was your favorite part about the Chroma era? That's what it's been dubbed now. Well, yeah, what was your favorite part?
Okay. I have heard that term thrown around because I did briefly rejoin the Culture Creek Discord on an alt account. And I will tell that story in a moment. But I have seen people call it the Chroma era, and I think that's very funny.
Well, you were
Um,
very influential.
well, obviously.
Yeah.
um, but my favorite part, I like when we were designing the map, and like that sort of thing. One of the
Yeah.
main things that we were going for, because this will sound weird, considering where like Calter Creek is now. But one of the main things that we were going for was visual intrigue. We didn't want the map to just look like Kaiserreich. We wanted it to look weird, like as if things have changed, as if things are like quote unquote wrong. Like there's stuff to do, stuff to fix, empires to rebuild, nations to break. Like we specifically designed it to sort of coax the player into wanting to do something.
Yeah.
Like, I know we had Italy still broken up, and there was lore for that. I know a lot of people think that that was a fucked up and weird decision, but like, there was a reason behind it. Do I remember the reason? Absolutely not. But like, when you see Italy still broken up, it gives you the opportunity to sort of enter the Italian peninsula either as a player or as another empire
Mhm.
to like expand your influence, because there was both a big like two big Entente players in Italy, being two Sicilies and Sardinia, or
Yes.
Sardinia Piedmont, I think.
Mm.
And then there were a bunch of like smaller states that kind of lean towards Reichspakt, to like the Papal State and like Venice and stuff like that. So it's much the same as Kaiserreich. It's kind of the idea of Risorgimento failed,
Yes.
um, which was like one of the building blocks that we were working with to make the Cold War work. Because we didn't just want to do a bunch of little proxy wars all over the world, focusing in a little bit more on Europe with the like split France, split up Italy, the wild card of Russia, was
Yes.
like kind of the idea, because both of the key players in the Cold War were right next to each other, being Germany and eventually Britain, but at game start Canada.
Yeah.
Um, so I
That's one
think
thing the
that's
Kalterkrieg
like,
team changed.
well, I'm aware. Don't worry.
Yeah.
That's why I say like one of my favorite things from specifically the Chroma era, was that sort of oddity. Like, it makes no sense logically, but like from a
Yes.
gameplay standpoint, it does.
Mm.
I think that map was one of my favorite things that we did.
Yeah, I saw that old map of yours you posted years ago. The one with like China missing
Oh yeah.
and like Brazil and like 400 pieces.
China missing was because our China at the time was based off of Kaiserreich stuff that hadn't been released yet. So
Oh,
as much as I was like exploding, like sending out like Kalterkrieg leaks and shit, I I wasn't sending out Kaiserreich leaks.
of
I
course.
wasn't doing all that.
You don't poke the bear.
uh, well, even if I did, I was making my fucking exit.
Anyways, so let's move on to your story. So what
Uh,
happened, when you left and then you joined back from ult? You want to talk about that?
sure. Starting from the beginning, because there's some important context.
Of course.
When I joined Bob's server, I made a couple friends. One of them, I like struggle to remember their names at this point because this was so long ago by now, like
Yeah,
9
almost a
years ago.
decade.
Yeah. But I made a couple friends
Yep.
over there, and things were going well, and I was like taking part in that like nation states RP and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um and in that RP, at 14-year-old me, I'm not sure what fucking possessed me to have my character for that RP be a girl, right?
Ah.
Like an empress. Because given the time period that we're talking about here, 2017,
Yeah.
um, especially in the Hearts of Iron 4 modding community,
Hmm.
um,
Early
presenting
days.
yourself, yeah, presenting yourself as one gender when you're not, was more frowned upon than it is today, for sure.
Hmm.
Um, and that, I wish I was joking, was the reason why the original server got deleted. Because the original server owner found out that I like wasn't who I said I was, I guess.
Ah.
And sort of went off about it, and the entire dev team essentially just had to move to another server because I mean, how do you remove the server owner, right? So that sort of thing was a underlying issue for a while. Because being as young as I was doing some attention seeking bullshit. Like just really dumb drama pretty consistently for like that year in between the establishment of the new server and my exit. I honestly don't even remember how it happened. I just kind of remember people wanted me gone, and I like took my exit in fire for sure. Like I told them not to
Yeah.
use my shit. I like locked the subreddit. Because like as I was leaving, I was like also still being harassed like at the moment by other developers.
I see.
So like it was the Kalterkrieg team at the time was comprised of a lot of people of varying maturity levels, myself being one of the lowest. Um, and that kind of just made the entire Chroma era implode because I was not the only developer to leave that day. There were a couple others that decided to follow suit because they were there because they agreed with my vision for the mod, et cetera, which is probably why it changed so fast. Um, because when I went in and like started looking at Culture Creek again for like maybe a month or so, like 2 years ago, um, I like found just how much it changed, and I found how much it changed so quickly, and I was like, huh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But like in hindsight, it makes plenty of sense. I know both before and after that, I haven't really thought about Kalterkrieg much. The reason why I like looked into it again is because I got my old hard drive out of storage and started looking through it, and I found
Mm-hmm.
like my old Kalterkrieg folder, and I'm like, oh, what are they up to nowadays? And this was like maybe a week before the like
Release.
official release. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I reached out to Axolotl, Leaf, whatever their name
Axolotl was the
is.
last coder left.
Okay. So I
Yep.
reached out to Axolotl, um, because like I found out about the release, so I like sent my congratulations or whatever. I don't remember what I said. That was like 2 years ago already. But beyond that, because like that was when I had to join on an alt because like I saw all of these different like Reddit handles on the like new subreddit, and I'm like, who the hell are these people? So I had to join the Discord server on an alt just to like find a developer to reach out to because I didn't know anyone that was left aside from
It completely
Carman.
changed, huh?
Yeah, no, it was like entirely different aside from him, and like I don't know if I did try to reach out or if I felt like I shouldn't, because we did not depart on like good terms at all.
Yeah, I can tell. I
Um,
see the messages and it's like very heated. Like they're still referring to you as a
yeah,
woman back then.
yeah, I find that interesting as well. Like even I don't like know what's up with that because
Did
like
they still
that's
like just to
definitely
clarify, what are you
uh
how do I phrase this?
I I do not care. I because of how long I went by like she her like was effectively a woman within that team and treated as such. Um like there was like two instances in which I was sexually harassed, and I'm just
Yeah.
sitting there like, buddy. um like just by people on the public server like in DMs.
S-
Um
did people like assume you were biologically like
I don't know. Like I
mm,
don't know what they assumed, but like because of how long that lasted, and then like in my day-to-day life being a man, I like don't really care at this point. Like, refer to me what you refer to me as. I
Yeah,
am disconnected from it all at this point.
true.
I'm me. Um, but trying to think about where I was getting to. Right. I did find it kind of funny. When I was like looking back into things, how many of the assets were the same? Um, like when I send you some screenshots later of like old Kalterkrieg, because I don't know what you have access to and what you don't.
I have only stuff on the
Um,
subreddit, the
I
old
don't
one.
know what's on there. I have no idea what's on there.
Yeah,
Um, I'll like send you some stuff.
perfect.
I know the what do you call it? The like country menu screen where like you see your ideology and like your portrait and stuff like that. The like paper UI for like all of
It's still
that
the
was
same.
like yeah, that was something that Carmaine made back in like 2019, 2018.
Hmm.
But like it was like kind of charming to like see Kalterkrieg and like see this thing that's like so distinctly different, and yet it's so clear that it's the same project under the hood. Um,
Yeah.
it's just kind of funny, I think. I know I saw on another mod. I wish I could tell you which mod it was. I don't know if the modding co-op is still around.
It's
Um,
dead, but still around.
okay, because I saw the co-op banner on like another mod at some point, and I'm like, oh, that's hilarious because I made that banner.
Oh, that was you.
So the like little I can send you the original.
Like with the gear and like the green
the
background.
this the like little banner that people put on the like main menu of their like
Oh, so that
mods.
was you. There's a new version now,
Yeah.
but it's the same design.
Oh yeah, I saw the new version and I was like, oh, that's cute. That's funny. So like there's a bunch of like little stuff like that. Like, oh, I guess I did like leave some imprint on all of
Hmm.
this.
True.
Um but like for the most part, it's a very distant world to me now. I've moved on to so many other things.
Hmm.
But
I see. What is your like most favorite nation you guys coded in during your time? I know there was the American naval junta.
yeah, the naval junta moved around quite a bit. Originally, I think it was in Puerto Rico. Then it got moved to like somewhere in the Pacific. I don't know like where we had it in the end because I'm sure it's been removed.
Oh, definitely.
Um, I think one of my favorite stupid ass things that we had. There was a path for New England where you could like conquer the rest of the US and establish the Washington monarchy. Um
Oh.
and I think that was really funny. Um there was like so many weird paths for America. Because like part of the reason why we had the Civil War last for so long is because it made America kind of unrecognizable and kind of less of a player compared to like Canada and other such.
Yeah.
Since basically all of its infrastructure has been like demolished, all of its population has been like displaced. Um, it kind of just made way for other nations to be anything.
Yeah.
Um, but we still had some fun making some of the American paths, and I know most of them are gone. I think I recognized like one of the New England paths from like what I
Hmm.
saw on like modern KRG.
I see. So it's safe to say they a lot of the stuff got reworked to hell.
Oh, for sure.
Hmm.
I don't know that anything survived. Like I don't know what they didn't rework. I haven't looked into it that much. I just remember what was, and then I took a pretty like at a glance look at like the current subreddit, and that's been about it. Um, yeah,
But they got rid of the CSA. Actually, yeah. How do you feel?
yeah.
How
Didn't
do you
they
feel about?
replace it with like the Great Lakes Authority or something?
Yeah. So yeah, how do you feel about people looking at like old gameplay concepts like a playable CSA and they think why wasn't that thing in current Culture Creek? Like because CSA, do you know what remains now? It's a mini game for the American Union state where they're in West Virginia, and if you lose the mini game, there's no revolt, nothing, just nothing happens.
I see.
Yeah, so it's pretty bad. So yeah, what do you think? What do you feel about when people look at old stuff and like, why isn't that in the game now?
Um, I think they should understand that modern Culture Krieg and the original Culture Krieg are two distinctly separate things, separated by God, almost 7 years now was when I left. Um, I the current development team and the old development team are entirely different. There's like no overlap now, as far as I know. Um, I don't
Mm,
think modern Culture Krieg should be held to the ideas that were had in my era, because the visions for these two projects, because they are two very different things, the visions are entirely different.
yep.
I had a vision for a silly, fun, like little mod that didn't carry the same energy that Kaiserreich does, because it does seem to me that Kalterkrieg, in its modern form, is trying to emulate Kaiserreich. Like it's trying to capture the same identity, the same vibe.
Yep.
When we were working on Kalterkrieg originally, that wasn't a goal at all.
Mm,
We were trying to make Kalterkrieg.
yep.
Um,
Its own thing.
and
It's trying to make it its own thing.
Yeah, exactly. Um, with like silly comic book events and like a radiation symbol debate, the American naval junta, like just fun little nations that you could play for maybe a couple years before either you inevitably get crushed or like you exhaust the content and move on. Because
Mm,
that's the fun that I've typically seen people have in Hearts of Iron 4 mods, is being able to load into a nation, have a vision for what you want to do in that nation, and then do it. Um, like go down that path, do what you can do to accomplish what you want to. Especially for the time, many mods and the base game were a lot more open ended. The paths that existed in vanilla at the time were severely limiting, to the point where there were very popular mods to just hit a button and change borders like after a war and stuff like that, or like change your country name and flag and color, which I think is now just a vanilla feature.
yep.
um but like that sort of fantasy of running a country and getting the borders that you want and doing the things that you want, that's like the lifeblood of the game. That's like what the game exists to be,
Yes. I
is
agree.
a fantasy.
Mm,
And I think the mods that have the most attention put onto them are the mods that accomplish that fantasy the best.
yes.
Like we look at Kaiserreich and my personal favorite, Old World Blues,
Hmm.
where you're playing a game. Like there are other things going on. There's lore going on, but it's not required because you don't have to know the Kaiserreich lore to get an idea of what's going on. They do a very good job of that. Um,
Yes.
and I think that that's like part of what we were trying to do with Culture Krieg was create an experience where there's like lore, there's like these epic tales that James wrote up, but at the same time, you don't need that to have fun in Culture Krieg. You can just like play as the British Reconstruction Authority and rebuild Britain and like establish the Excalibur program and then nuke Germany to shit. Like that's just, we kind of just wanted the player to be able to have fun and mess up. And do all sorts of weird, bizarre BS. Like, oh, sure, you want to put H.P. Lovecraft in charge of New England? Go for it. That sounds funny. Let's add it. Because at the end of the day, it's all about what the player wants to do. And I think that is something that I've seen both a lot of mods and the base game fail to accomplish. Because I've like seen a lot of the changes and like DLCs that the base game has received, and like none of them catch my interest at all. Because a lot of them kind of just seem like adding more content to nations, and then the alternative paths are so rigid. Like, I appreciate that the content is there, but when the content is so streamlined, it feels like you don't have much wiggle room.
It's very railroaded.
Yeah. But I can't speak for modern Kalterkrieg because I have not played it.
Of course.
I like looked into it, sent my congratulations, and moved on with my life. Because I have other projects, I have a job, I have other worries, other hobbies.
He's not unemployed anymore.
Oh yeah, no, thankfully. But I mean, last time that I touched Kalterkrieg, I was in fucking high school, so yeah.
So long ago.
Yeah, I have my bachelor's now.
Whoa, congrats, man.
Yeah, thank you. It's not a very useful one, but either way, I don't know.
One final question.
Yeah.
Oh no, you go first.
I think let me find a way to phrase this because I assume you're going to be cutting all around this anyways. So I haven't been like trying to be like
uncut interviews.
Oh no. I've been like stumbling and restarting sentences. We'll cut that out.
I'll cut it just for you.
No, don't worry about it. I think it's funnier. But I know I don't think that Modern Hearts of Iron 4 is a game for me. Like, I think the time in which I found it fun, that I found the mods for it fun, has passed. I think the time where mods like what we were developing with Kalterkrieg, I don't know that they can exist anymore. I don't know that sort of thing will have the interest necessary to like garner a development team behind it. That said, I do think that the current development team has a vision for Kalterkrieg. I commend them for sticking by it, even if the mod itself has kind of grinded to a halt for the umpteenth time in its existence. And I wish them the best of luck in like trying to see their vision through, even though from what you're telling me it sounds like it won't be. I hope that all of the people working on the mod, that have worked on the mod, are able to find something to work on that they enjoy, like I did. That's like rewarding to work on. That surrounds yourself with mature people, with like people that are rational in their decisions, people that enjoy to make things rather than whatever the alternative is. And that's not trying to attack anyone that I worked with, because like I said earlier, I was one of those people on Kalterkrieg. Yes. I was a bad influence on the mod. But at the same time, the original idea that we had, or that I had and that other people followed, I suppose, never ended up getting to see the light of day. And there was a part of me that was upset about that. That was the part of me that lashed out and closed the subreddit and told people, no, you aren't allowed to use the assets that I made, etc., etc. But that part of me is long gone. I can't say that I care anymore. Like looking at Kalterkrieg in the state that it is now doesn't bring me any emotion, if that makes any sense.
Huh.
I feel entirely disconnected from it now. Because it doesn't resemble anything that I worked on.
Yeah.
But it's just like, yeah, no, this is a different vision, and I understand that they're going through it right now. I wish them luck. I haven't really thought about them until you sent me a friend request, and I'm just like, oh, I have like one guess as to what this is about. Because I saw the like Hoi 4 YouTuber and you're about, and I'm like, I know exactly what this person is about to ask me about.
No. All right. Last thing then. Do you think there's any hope left for Kalterkrieg?
The last time that I checked in on the Discord, and granted this was 2 years ago, it seemed like they had a pretty steady community built up.
It's very different now.
Yeah, 2 years can do a lot. I've been on projects like that before, for sure. I don't know enough about Kalterkrieg's current situation to give a read on that. However, asking me, I don't know if there was hope for Kalterkrieg from the start.
I see.
I don't.
It was always a flawed project.
Well, that and like we're talking about like only having one coder and like things are kind of at a standstill. They've always been that way. They've been that way since I've been there. We never really had a big team. I think the largest team that we ever had was maybe like 20 people, and many of those people were like designers, like designing focus trees and like stories for nations and stuff like that, but not actually being able to implement any of them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was just a fun thing to work on for most people, I think. And the fact that we ever took it from what Bob had, which was just a for fun project, to let's make this into a mod, I think that was a mistake. I think it was perfectly fine to just design a mod to never be made. And that's exactly what my version of Kalterkrieg was. It never got made. And you know what? It's more fun for it. Because I'm sure if it did get made, over time we would have to balance things out into a state that people don't like, or we would end up reworking nations and people would be upset about it, or this or that. And releasing a project always comes with that threat, if that makes sense.
I agree.
So I think the fact that my version of Kalterkrieg never released is for the best.
All right. Thank you so much, Chroma. Is there anything else you want to
add? No, I don't think so. I look forward to seeing whatever you make out of all of this. I'll send you some of my old files. If you can get anything booted up, I'll be impressed.
All right. Thank you so much, Chroma. Have a good day, you and everyone. Please check out, if you haven't checked it out, check out the main Kalterkrieg video that's released side by side with this. Thank you so much.
Yeah, have a great day.
All right. Let me stop the recording.